It was a cold morning in 1958 when Orn Larsson, a Swedish man in his 40s, collapsed for the 30th time that month. His heart had slowed to a crawl, sometimes stopping altogether. Doctors had no solution left to offer. Each fainting spell brought him closer to death. But that same year, in a small laboratory, two pioneers, engineer Rune Elmqvist and surgeon Åke Senning, were working on an idea that sounded like science fiction. A device that could sit inside the body and send tiny electrical pulses to keep the heart beating. When Larsson became their patient, history was made. He received the world's very first implanted pacemaker. It was crude, unreliable, and it failed after just a few hours. But the team tried again and again. In total, Larsson would go through 26 different pacemakers in his lifetime. Yet thanks to those devices, he lived to the age of 86. Outliving both of the men who invented the technology that saved him. This is the story of the pacemaker, the tiny electrical miracle that has saved millions of lives. The human heart is often described as a pump, but it's also an electrical system. With each beat, specialized cells send electrical signals that trigger the heart muscles to contract and push blood through the body. But when that system breaks down, when the signals falter or slow, patients can collapse without warning. In many cases, death follows within minutes. Before pacemakers, there was almost nothing doctors could do. Some tried external machines that sent jolts through the skin, but they were painful, bulky, and far from practical. Patients lived in fear, never knowing when their heart might stop again. The pacemaker changed everything. Instead of shocking the heart from outside, engineers discovered they could deliver tiny, painless impulses directly to the heart muscle, just enough to keep it beating steadily, without the patient even noticing. Early pacemakers were far from perfect. The first versions were strapped to patients like heavy boxes. Others were so large they required long wires running through the skin, causing infections. Some only worked for a few hours before running out of power. But biomedical engineers persisted. They refined the circuits, shrank the components, and developed better batteries. Today's pacemakers are marvels of miniaturization. They are no larger than a coin, weighing less than 30 grams. They sit quietly inside the chest, connected to the heart with thin wires, and can keep a patient alive for over a decade before needing replacement. But size isn't the only improvement. Modern pacemakers can adjust to a patient's activity. If you walk, the pacemaker senses the motion and speeds up your heart. If you sleep, it slows things down. Some even communicate wirelessly with doctors, sending updates on how the heart is performing. The impact of this invention cannot be overstated. Around the world, over 3 million people live with pacemakers, and hundreds of thousands more receive them every year. What was once a death sentence is now a manageable condition. Patients who once couldn't walk across a room without fainting can now live decades, travel, raise families, and enjoy full lives. And yet, the story doesn't end here. The next generation of pacemakers may look very different. Some are already being developed without wires, tiny capsules inserted directly into the heart, reducing risks of infection. Others are exploring self-charging systems, using the motion of the heartbeat itself to generate electricity, eliminating the need for battery replacements. And beyond that lies a question that blurs the line between biology and engineering. Could we one day replace not just the rhythm of the heart, but the heart itself with a fully engineered device? Orn Larsson's story reminds us that progress often comes from persistence. The first pacemaker failed within hours, but engineers didn't give up. Each failure taught them something new. And because of that, millions of families today have more time with their loved ones. So the next time you feel your heart beating steadily in your chest, remember, it is more than just a rhythm of life. For some, it is the gift of electricity, engineered by human hands, pulsing silently inside them. And it leaves us with a question. If your heart began to fail, would you trust a tiny machine to take over its beat?